National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney, John Hanna, with us. John, what do you make of this?
Well, I mean, I suppose for some people this was the president at his best. Very long answers, pensive, reflective, thoughtful. I thought it was, I mean, Chancellor Merkel ought to demand equal time here. I thought this was a man still feeling like he'd been run over by a Mack truck on November 8th and was kind of wandering around the recesses of his mind in an extended disquisition to the people of the world, trying to explain what happened. And as you said, Neil, trying to take no blame for the fact that this was, as much as it was a rejection of Hillary Clinton, it was a painful, shocking, and humiliating rejection of the Obama legacy as well.
But, you know, John, he kept going back to that kind of like me and his own approval numbers, and that he couldn't reconcile that with the rejection of Hillary Clinton outside his thing, as he said in the past. It was kind of her fault that she didn't aggressively campaign hard. The Democratic operation didn't go out in states like Iowa where it should have, but not taking any of that blame. Now, that's what a president will do upon leaving office. I'm sure put the best spin on his stewardship. But the message I got from him for his successor is, don't really mess all the great things I did, which would be counterintuitive for Donald Trump, who knows he got elected to at least mess some of that stuff up, right?
Yeah, no question. The president-elect clearly has a mandate on certain things, and dismantling certain elements of the current president's legacy is very much part of that. I don't think there's any avoiding that. And in Europe itself, I mean, part of the problem is the president's legacy has been a disaster, that the European Union is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. NATO is being challenged. Russia's resurgent. The threat of Islamic terrorism has never been so high, and very much as a result of President Obama's policies in places like Syria. Europe now is being overwhelmed by the worst refugee crisis since World War II.
You know, John, just your thoughts. I don't want to be too overtly political here, and you eschew that quite rightly. But I do notice that Democratic presidents are generally more popular abroad than our Republican presidents. In other words, they admire and respect Democratic presidents than they do Republican ones. They're conservative cowboys, or they shoot from the hip, or they don't seem as sophisticated or erudite. I see that and read that in a lot of the European press, and how much they're going to miss Barack Obama. And into that comes a Donald Trump, much like into that walked a Ronald Reagan, similarly dismissed by Europe. How should Donald Trump handle that, deal with that? Should he worry about that? What?
I think he's got to take the alliance seriously, Neil, but I think Donald Trump comes in a very strong position. I mean, the fact is he's created, by some of his statements and postures, an enormous amount of uncertainty, unpredictability in Europe, as you saw in that press conference about what he's going to do. And I think as long as he's committed to the security, stability, and prosperity of the West, he ought to use that uncertainty about what he's going to do as real leverage to get the Europeans to get their act together, to step up, and to once again become a major pillar of Western civilization in a very, very dangerous world, pull their weight, be an equal partner with the United States.
Well put, John. Great having you. Thank you very much for your patience through this very long press conference, John. John Hanna in Washington, D.C.